everyone. Welcome once again to my channel, Alpa Doshi. I have been posting a series of videos right now on practice for objective type questions, which carries a lot of weightage in the 100 marks of Organization of Commerce and Management, Maharashtra State Board syllabus. So continuing with our video on the 4th chapter, I'm extremely happy with the response I've got from students and friends about the videos that I've been posting, and I'm extremely happy that it's really becoming very worthy revision at the last minute for all the HSC students. So we move on to our chapter 4. If you see, requesting everybody to please sit with a textbook and a pen to make the markings required. So we are going to be marking the highlighted text that I have. You have to mark them for objectives like all the other 3 chapters that we've done. So if we begin with, you should know that from this very chapter, 2 topics which have been deleted, that is transport as well as communication is no longer included in this academic year as well. So what we are left with, banking, insurance and warehousing becomes extremely important, considering that this chapter totally in the paper, objectives and theory included, has minimum exactly 27 marks. So with that in mind, let us move ahead with the important objectives that we have. If you will see the very first line here, services are intangible in nature. We can get it as a sentence, correct the underlined word. So you have services are tangible in nature and you will have to correct the underlined word. I have highlighted that point later somewhere. So we see here that each and every part that we expect objectives from are highlighted here. So please do make markings as and when we move about with the chapter. So beginning with the definition, you have a definition for service is an act of performance. So some match the pair, or answer in one word could be important here. If you will see here, activities, benefits or satisfactions which are offered for sale or which are provided in connection with the sale of goods. So usually you will get a very simple one-line answer. Such complicated definitions you will not be expecting them for your answer in one sentence, etc. So don't worry about that. But otherwise this could be in answer in give commercial terms. So the sentence would be given and you have to mention the term saying that we're talking about services here. So similarly, if you see the head points in services are intangible. So as I just said that you can get it in correct the underlined word. Services are inseparable. Usually every head point becomes important. What I have marked is something which has come in the board and a few extra that I think may be important for any exam. So services are non-transferable, perishable. These are the other possible ones, but not really important. Moving ahead, so far we were talking about services. Now let us come to business services. So if you have a one-line question, what are business services? This is your 1 mark answer. Business services are those services which help business to grow and help business to function seamlessly without any obstruction. So this is how a 1 mark answer is what you will highlight. We have 7 business services in the picture, though in your syllabus there are 5 discussed. Out of these 5, 2 have been omitted, and you have to study banking, insurance and warehouse. So moving ahead, we will see under banking, the term bank, again an important objective. This has been coming often. The word comes. Now this is again a favorite with the board. You have the word bank comes from a French word. What is that word called? It's banco. Okay, so the word objective is important. French could be the question or banco could be the question, and the meaning of that word, bench. Okay, so the word from which the word bank is derived is banco, and it's from the French language and it has the meaning is bench. So this is how all 3 become important. Talking about the meaning. Sometimes you get explain, a term like banking. Okay, so for a 2 marks, you have this explain the term or concept, where you will be required to write the meaning of the word bank. You may be required to write down the a short definition of bank, and that could become your answer. So when you see the word banking for a 2 mark question, you will have to explain, begin with this, also mention some of the important functions of bank. So this is how your answer on banking, as it says here, the word banking has been defined as. So basically the function of banking is defined as accepting for the purpose of lending. Okay, though this is not highlighted, please do highlight this, mark this. The term banking has been asked for 2 marks in the September paper also, and this entire paragraph starting from, according to this, the word banking has been defined as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits of money from public, and this money is repayable. Okay, it's not permanent loan, it's repayable either on demand. So if it is a savings account or current account, it's repayable on demand. It can be withdrawn by check, it can be withdrawn by withdrawal slip, which is called, apart from that, you have the draft, that is the demand draft, order, or otherwise. So this particular definition of 2 marks should be highlighted. Dear students, please note this, page number 51, last definition. The next topic that you have, types of banks, as I have mentioned in my other videos. This is extremely important for your answer, your long answer. Okay, so we expect a long answer possible on this. September paper had distinguished between these 2 types of banks, central bank and commercial bank. Apart from that, we also expect some objectives from this, like the ones which we have highlighted here. Central bank is something which we have even in economics, I think. So we have things like, what is central bank? It's an apex financial institution, or which is the Central Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India, or central bank is known as a banker to the government or banker's bank. So all these highlighted texts, including RBI, become important for objectives here. We don't really expect much of objectives from commercial bank or otherwise. Then we have next is cooperative banks. Under cooperative banks also we have 3 types. So we've just marked these to make it simple also for you all to learn. In fact, when you're writing a long answer, these types can be just explained briefly, as in primary credit cooperative societies work is at village level, district cooperative societies at district level, and state cooperative is at state level. So this is how we have the questions from this particular chapter, or how we'll have objectives from here, if at all. Once again, you have industrial development banks, no important objectives from this. It's just important for you all to kind of take an idea of exchange bank is something to do with foreign exchange, and these are the examples. Usually we do not get objectives from this. As I said, this answer is important for a long answer question. All right, and at the most 1 distinction. Again, we see the next type. Regional rural development banks again are something which is a part of the long answer, nothing much to do with the objective types. Savings bank, at the most, there used to be an objective long ago that savings bank was, one of the examples of savings bank was the postal banking services. So that's one objective we marked. Let us talk about the investment banks, something which is so popular all over the world. And we marked and highlighted an important function of investment banks, about how they are very active in mergers and acquisitions of businesses. So that's what we have in point number 8. Then you have these acronyms, like you have EXIM, you have SIDBI. Make sure that you've learned these. Export Import Bank is EXIM. Small Industries Development Bank of India is SIDBI. Very often, maybe, you'll have, say, for example, choose the odd one out. So you will have these 3 banks, like you will have NABARD, SIDBI, and you will have EXIM Bank. And then you will have, say, for example, State Bank of India. So out of the 4, the State Bank of India is going to be the odd one out. So you don't have to by heart all these types. You don't have to really learn all these types, but you must know that these three are all examples of specialized banks. So once specialized banks is identified, you know that the fourth bank given there is the odd one out. So a few examples of what objectives we expect from this. Now again, you have new models of banking. Mind you, dear students, this has been included recently in the changed syllabus. In fact, all of this is extremely relevant and important in the modern world today. Banking has really evolved, and a lot of such other new models have come up. So we see small finance banks. They've given examples of NBFCs, microfinance institutions, local area banks. All of these should be something, and very good career opportunities in all of these. Is, as a commerce student, you should know that these are the places where you stand a good chance to get in somewhere in the future. So this is not really much you have to do with the objectives. Payment banks, like they've given examples of Airtel, Paytm, post payment banks, etc. Nothing much really for objectives from this. We now go to the next topic, and that is another long answer question. We expect that for 8 marks. Again, apart from that, it could be important even for your objective type questions. So we see here functions of commercial banks are divided into 2 categories: primary functions and secondary functions. So say, for example, you again can get an odd one out question in this. Say, for example, you have types of accounts. Okay, the different types of bank accounts that you have. So if you have recurring deposit, demand deposit, or maybe recurring savings account, fixed deposit account, and another one, you know how to pick up the odd one out. So this is how these titles are going to be very, very important. A very important objective that you get in current account, repeatedly it has been asked, and that is about overdraft facility is available for this account. So if you get correct the underlined word, savings account provide overdraft facility, and savings is underlined. So you know that savings is a incorrect word, and you have to replace it with current account provides facilities for overdraft. So this is how objective could be framed in this. Again, true or false, you can get a sentence like current account interest is paid, and you say it's a false statement because savings account and fixed deposit recurring interest is paid. Current account, no interest is paid. So this is how you expect these questions. Once again, you have all of this important for your long answer. One objective possible maybe on cash credit. It's available to both current account and savings account holders. All right, so that's about the cash credit part. Once again, we have overdraft facility, and this facility is offered to current account holders only. So this is how we have the questions on objectives possibility here. Nothing really much we expect from secondary functions. These we expect is only in terms of questions which have been asked. If you will see, even for DMAT, there is no decent objective anywhere. So let us assume that we need to study this especially for long answers, but nothing much really for objectives. Very important, nothing to skip, of course. All this is very important for your theory papers. Moving on to the next topic, we have e-banking services. Once again, one of the favorites, objectives is e-business, e-banking, ATM. So make sure that you're highlighting all of this. E-banking stands for electronic banking, and it's also known as virtual banking. So you can get this match the pair, or anything, any format of objective. ATM actually has been asked very often for something like justify answer, but as you see, the paragraph given here is so short, and yet let me tell you, this was asked for the September paper. So maybe you can refer to some books and gather some more material as a to justify answer for this. So basically, what are ATMs? They are electronic machines where customers can withdraw and deposit money any time of the day. So that's automated teller machines. Once again, credit card. There was a 2 marks question on what is a debit card? Something like answer in one sentence. So what is a credit card? So for that 1 mark question, you need to prepare this. Credit card is a payment card, and different payments transactions can be performed on this. And the difference between credit card and debit card is credit card, the payment has to be made after a few days. Debit card, the payment will be debited immediately from your bank account. So that's your debit card. And through debit card payments, the amount gets deducted from the account holder's account instantly. All right. So this is how you can define debit cards and credit cards. The wonderful part of our syllabus talking about RTGS, it is something which makes your syllabus very current, very recent and latest. So let's see which part of the paragraph you could write for maybe 1-line answer, any type of objective. So as you see here, transfer of funds or money takes place from one bank to another on real or gross basis. Okay, so you can have another word given in place of real and you have to substitute it with the correct word. That's how we expect this objective to be coming. The next 5th type, see the highlighted text there. NEFTs, funds are transferred electronically from one branch to another branch without any delay. So this is how you have NEFT explained. There are different time slots where as soon as you click, and if you're within that time slot, the particular payment will be transferred. So moving ahead, you have some objectives on net banking. You see the first line there explaining about net banking is something where a client is able to transact banking operations with any electronic gadget, maybe a laptop, maybe a computer. And mobile banking is something where you access your account through the mobile phones. The last you have in this list is the IMPS facilities, where these are immediate payment services and instant transfer. So the objective important here is IMPS offers instant transfer. You don't have to wait for a particular time slot. And that's what is the specialty of IMPS. So this completes your objectives on the 1/3 part or banking part of your chapter. Okay, so moving ahead with the second topic in the chapter of business services, we now talk about the important objectives of insurance. So if you see the very first sentence, the meaning of insurance. So a question like, what is insurance? A 1 mark answer, this much would be sufficient. Insurance is a means of protection from financial loss. So this is how a 1 mark answer should suffice in this. However, if you have a longer 2 mark answer, explain terms or concept or something like what is insurance? In that case, we would be expect to write at least 3 to 4 sentences. And in that case, you will be required to prepare this entire paragraph on meaning. All right. Very often, in case you have a very short meaning, you may also describe the different types of insurance. You can describe, some examples. Some of the important characteristics, any of this could work for a 2 marks answer. So it is not necessary that it has to be meaning and definition. It is not necessary that it has to be meaning and features. It could be any 2 out of meaning, features, definition, examples, all of this, out of these, any 2, which approximately come to 6 to 8 lines is all that is expected in this 2 mark answer. So basically, it's the entire concept that you've learned should be able to, suffice. So if you move ahead, again, the next highlighted text, you have an objective for the word premium. All right. So another word for premium is the consideration. So for any contract, there is a consideration. Okay. When you buy something, you pay something. That's the consideration. So the consideration for which the insurer agrees, promises that, okay, I will compensate. Promises to insure the insured, to compensate the insured. So that consideration, that amount which he is getting, the insurer is getting, is called premium. Similarly, policy. Policy is basically, it is a statement of contract. All right. So it is the proof of contract between the insurer and the insured. So that particular, it's a kind of a document which contains the terms and conditions of the whole contract. So this is how another objective you have. Though, you know, some of these that are marked are not there, have not yet been asked in the board, but just to be on the safer side, we're marking some extra stuff. Subject matter. It is the item or the commodity or the object which you are getting insured. Okay, in life insurance, life is the subject matter. In case of maybe you're insuring goods for fire, so goods is the subject matter. So this is how it refers to the subject or the entity. It could be life, it could be property, it could be cargo on ship, etc. All right, so they're giving examples of life, fire, and marine insurance. So this is how you have, please mark the objective and subject matter. Moving ahead, we go to page number 68. The very important topic of principles of insurance. I would really like to draw your attention that this is one of the 8-mark long answers that we expect, since this chapter has a long answer for sure in the question paper. Since this chapter carries 27 marks, you're definitely getting the first question, number 8. First question is from this chapter. And we have banking, insurance, and warehousing. Long answer is expected either on banking or on insurance. All right, so this is where we have a particular, you have to make the note. If a long answer is asked, in fact, in September paper, the question of 8 marks on this chapter was on principles of insurance. So let us see what happens this time. Maybe this time you may have banking either functions, or you may have the different types of banks. One of the two, we can't be sure. In any case, all of these answers on principles of insurance are important for objectives. They are important for, the topic of insurance, you can get a distinguish between. Correct? So like we said, since 2 topics have been deleted, the other 3 become even more important now. Every part of it becomes very important. So talking about utmost good faith, you see the one line which will explain whether you have to actually learn this answer for your long answer or whatever. You see the highlighted statement, the insurer and insured. What does the principle of utmost good faith say? The insurer and the insured must disclose all material facts, material meaning all important facts, clearly, completely, and correctly. So this is the precise definition of utmost good faith. All right, so in good trust, you have to insure with each other. You see the second one there, insurable interest. So this concept is basically, you can insure your own property. You cannot insure somebody else's property. Okay, only if it is your own property. Only if you have financial interest in the subject matter. So that is what is insurable interest. Indemnity, again, is a very hot favorite in terms of justify. A very important question we can expect on justify is indemnity is not applicable to life insurance. All right, so the whole concept is about how indemnity is not applicable to life insurance. So the answer given here is quite brief. For a 4-mark justify answer, this definitely is not enough. So let us see, maybe like some students were requesting me, I might post a video on all the important justify the following examples, and maybe there we can discuss at length, and I can even give you a kind of a decent answer of what we can write for. Principle of indemnity does not apply to life insurance. So very important objective here. Also, indemnity means a guarantee, assurance to put the insured in the same financial position as he was before the happening of the uncertain event, before the loss occurred. Say before the fire, whatever was the situation, insurance promises that you can reinstate or put him back in the same position. So naturally, this does not apply to life insurance. Moving ahead, you see your principle number 4. A small objective possible here, right of ownership of leftover, whatever is left after the fire, after the damage, after the loss has occurred, that belongs, that now becomes the ownership of the insurer. That is subrogation. Contribution says that in case you have taken insurance, maybe with 2 insurers, or you have only insured half your goods, you will get only that proportionate loss, only to that extent. And that's what is contribution. Mitigation is minimized. Okay, please mark these. Take your time and make sure that you're doing the markings, and you can make the listen to the details earlier, but at the same time, make sure that you definitely mark whatever I'm talking about in the textbook. Again, causa proxima has never been asked in the board as an objective. However, just to highlight the important part which explains the meaning, proximate is the closest. Okay, so whenever there is any kind of a loss, the first closest cause is what will be understood as the cause of the loss, and if that cause is insured, you get the compensation. So if there was a building collapse and then the fire occurred, so the closest cause is the building collapse, not the fire. So your if your goods are damaged by fire, you're not getting compensation. So that's what is principle of causa proxima. Then again, we move on to the 3 types of insurances that we have. The first one is life insurance. What you have to study here is meaning and types. All the 3, a brief meaning is given and 3 types are given. So once again, we expect that we may get 2 marks of explain term or concept of, say, life insurance or fire insurance or marine insurance, or maybe you get a short answer on what are the types of life insurance policies. So these are the possible questions. Let us first talk about the important objectives here. Contract between insurer and insured, whereby the insurer agrees. So all the definitions of insurance start this way. Further, insurer agrees to compensate the insured a sum of money. Either the money is definitely coming in life insurance, either it comes on expiry of a time period or on death, whichever is earlier. So there are a lot of term policies also these days. Whichever is earlier is what is life insurance. Now, if you will see in this answer on types of life insurance policies, I wouldn't want to go too much into the detail. We are unnecessarily making the video too long. If you see whole life policy, money is payable only on death of the insured. Endowment means it is taken for a specific period. So while the insured is alive, he may get the amount on maturity. Term insurance, again, for a specific period. Annuity is where after maturity, you get a huge lump sum together, and maybe at regular intervals, every year you will get something. Again, money back is another type. Nothing much in the objectives expected here. Child insurance is for designed to meet child's financial needs. The other 2 types are also self-explanatory. Retirement policy provides retirement benefits. After retirement, the person gets a regular income. ULIP. So these ULIP policies are where the policy is linked to mutual funds. So a part of the money is invested into mutual funds, and if the markets do well, you get a good bonus. So these are the types of life insurance policies. Okay, now what are the kind of questions you can have? You can have 3 examples of life insurance policies, and the 4th may be a type of fire insurance policy. So you'll have to choose the odd one out, correct? So there might be correct the underlined word, and the sentence would be endowment policy money is dash policy money, endowment is underlined, is received only on death. So you correct the sentence, change endowment to whole life. Whole life money is received by the nominees only on death of the insured. So this is how these types, if you've understood the main meaning, any variation, any kind of objective asked should be able to easily be answered. All right. So please make a note that you're not going to get these sentences directly. There are different formats here. Then again, you have the second type of insurance, that is marine insurance. So remember, in this chapter, at the end, you also have distinction between life, fire, and marine. So all of those distinctions give you excellent objectives to refer to. All right. So it's kind of a summary of all the topics, and that's the best way, in fact, you can cover all your objective questions. So talking about marine insurance, you see that it gives protection for losses caused due to dangers of the sea. There is a particular word for this called perils on sea. So when you have this kind of a 1 mark answer, this much will be enough. If it's a 2 mark explain term concept, you'll be writing down these 3 lines to explain the concept. Again, you have voyage policy, which covers a particular journey, a voyage. Time covers a particular time period. Mixed policy is a combination of voyage and time policy. So once again, say for example, you get voyage policy is for a definite period of time. So you say it's a false statement, correct? So this is how the objectives could be asked. Blanket policy is again something which covers multiple risks on one property. So, different types of risks are covered under one, and that's how it's called a, blanket policy. Port risk covers all types of risks of a vessel at the port. Composite is when you have taken the same subject matter is insured with more than one insurer. Fleet and block, again, are typical types. Do not worry, we're not getting such in-depth objectives ever in the board. All right, so these types will be useful for you. Once again, I repeat, if any of 3 types of fire insurance policy or marine insurance policies are mentioned, and the 4th one is another type, odd one out, is a very good possibility here. We now move on to fire insurance. Once again, the definition for 1 mark or 2 marks would require this length of an answer. If you see valued policy, the value of the policy is determined, agreed upon at the time of making the contract. So not after the loss, but before, while the contract is being made, the value is determined. So the next you see there is average policy. Once again, this is a case of under insurance when the goods are undervalued. If you, taken only good insurance for half your goods, you will get only half the compensation. Again, you have a specific policy here. So there is a definite sum, the night of the fire, in case of the event of loss, how much ever is the stock of goods in your godown, that specific amount will definitely be compensated by the insurer. So that's the specific policy. Floating policies, when the stocks are fluctuating too much, you take 2 policies. One is for the fixed, generally how much ever basic policy that you take, and the fluctuating stock, you take a second policy. So that's your excess policy. Then again, you have reinstatement policy. Under reinstatement policy, the premium is a bit higher. The facility, the benefit is, if there is a loss, you will be reinstated. The entire loss will be compensated in such a way that the same machinery, the same furniture is, you can repurchase it and put it back. So that is what we mean by reinstatement policy. Similarly, though in India it's not very popular, consequential loss policy is when the losses that you occur because of a particular event, say you meet with an accident and you cannot go to work, or if the machinery is damaged and the production stops. So the losses suffered as a result of an event are also covered under this. So that's like the intangible and tangible, both are covered. Sprinkle leakage is for high rises, where it covers the damage caused due to the automated sprinklers which are set up. So dear students, though I am discussing these at length, we really have not had such in-depth objectives on this topic. Anyways, we know that transport is completely omitted. So even from the exercise behind, please make sure that you do not need to do the topic of any of the objectives on transport as well as communication. The third and the last topic we have now, warehousing. Very short topic, 2 short notes, and meaning is all you have. You see here once again, meaning of warehousing. Okay, so you see the 2 keywords in this definition, like we always see the keywords in every concept. You see the 2 keywords, storing and preserving. Okay, so anything that you have in the form of match the pairs, all of that should cover this. So if you see the words are there in the meaning. Once again, if you will see the words in the functions, the first function again is talking about storage. All right, so similarly, you will have preservation somewhere. All of these are repetitions. There used to be this very favorite question on warehousing that was about warehousing helps in price stabilization. So the markets are not allowed to shoot. Things cannot become too expensive. Things cannot become too cheap when there is excess supply. Warehousing kind of stabilizes prices. Okay, so this is the other concept that you have under objectives. Apart from this, no major objective except you see this one: warehousing creates dash utility, warehousing creates time utility. All right, so transport was, like place utility, but of course that is no longer included. The first short note is functions of warehousing. The second possible short answer that you can get in warehousing is on types of warehouses. Few objectives are popular from types of warehouses. Like, for example, if you have what is a public warehouse, which is given on rent to third parties. So which is given for storage facilities to general public for a charge. All right. So there are warehouse keepers and they have properties. They've got huge warehouses, which they give on rent to other businessmen. The third type that you have bonded, a very popular objective, does not appear really in clear words over here, is goods are stored before payment of customs duty is bonded warehouse. And under the next one, if you'll see the highlighted text in duty paid, goods are stored after making payment of duty. Okay, so before payment is bonded warehouse, after payment is duty paid warehouse. Government warehouses again are owned, managed, controlled by government. Nothing really difficult about this. A very popular objective, unbelievably easy, but yet very common. Cold storage provides storage for perishable goods. Okay, this is the end of the 3 topics. Again, communication no longer exists in your this year's syllabus. Once again, I would like to draw your attention. Please always, do the distinguish between very well. Number 1, it prepares you for objectives. Also, if you have a short note to be written only on life insurance or a 2 marks explain term or concept, you will get enough matter from this distinction. Apart from this, you will also obviously be preparing for the distinguish between on the chapter. Several benefits of covering distinguish between. So always do it as well as you can. If you will see here in indemnity, they're explaining. The first column says it is not applicable as human life cannot be valued in terms of money for calculating the actual loss. So suppose you get a question to, justify question. In the justify question, even these 2 points, how indemnity is applicable to fire and marine, become significant to explain the concept of why indemnity is not applicable to life insurance, correct? So this is how the distinction will be important. Do not worry. These details which have been given here are not required for you all. Another important distinction that you have in this chapter is different types of bank accounts. Try and study from a book where you have only current and savings, or only savings and fixed. That makes it easier for you to remember the points. Like I said, the Maharashtra State Board app has a combination of such pairs of distinction. You see here, the next we have distinguish between commercial bank and central bank. As I said, it appeared in the September exam. Again, you have the next, this particular distinction is totally cancelled. So that's all that you have in this chapter. So I hope all the objectives are clear. If you will be seeing any of these objectives exercises behind, please make sure that you have to omit off transport and communication, and the rest of it is very, very well covered in whatever markings we've done. So please make sure that whenever you are doing the chapters, do solve the exercises. Once you have made those markings, I'm sure you are totally sorted and you don't need to worry about the rest of the questions. That's all in my video on objectives of chapter number 4, business services. I will be uploading the next video, next chapter very soon. Until then, do study hard. The board is in full gear preparing for your offline examinations. As you know that Your colleges are the place where your centers will be allotted. So you're not going to be going to any other premise. So in full gear, the preparations are on. Make sure that you're also preparing anytime soon. Hall tickets will be coming and you will be appearing the application-based test, which is going to be held in the college, as an internal exam. And you have to report on that date. The particular sheet on which you will be required to solve the answers has to be kept as a record by the college. All these videos, dear students, are going to be very, very useful for you to appear those ABT tests. All right. So please take it seriously. Please like, share, subscribe, and see how many of our friends, your classmates can make use of my videos. Thank you very much. I would love it if you can post some comments and tell me in case you want any specific types of videos or guidance. All right. That's all for now. Thank you.